In the last newsletter, we looked at spinning articles on 3 levels: the paragraph level, the sentence level, and finally the word level. And although it takes a lot longer to do that, by spinning on those 3 levels, you'll end up with a large article that can be spun into pretty much unlimited numbers of different unique articles. But we did touch upon another thing last week, and that was the formatting of the articles can also be spun. And we looked at that with paragraphs where one of the spun paragraphs was actually 2 paragraphs instead of 1. So what you then get is when you spin the article, you might have different numbers of paragraphs each time you spin it, which is a good way of trying to make the article unique in the eyes of the search engines. Today I want to look at a couple of other things you can do, and the first one is with titles. Today I want to look at something a little different, and today I want to look at something along those lines, and we're going to start off with an example here of titles that are spun to have different formatting. And what I've done here is I've got basically 4 different titles: who is at risk of gestational diabetes, gestational diabetes question mark, a guide to gestational diabetes, and what is gestational diabetes. But what I've done is I've formatted them with HTML tags. So we've got paragraph tags, bold tags, italics, and H3 tags. And note that I've also got, if we look up here, after the bold we've got a BR tag which basically adds a new line, and after the italic we've got 2 BR tags which basically adds 2 new lines. So again, changing the formatting. And if we look at this as a spun header, we'll look at it first in the plain text format. You can see that as I spin it, the HTML of the page will be changing, and we can see what that looks like in HTML preview. Then we've got italics, bold, italics, normal, and somewhere there should be an H3. There we go, H3 header. So there's one example of spinning format. That's spinning the title of a piece of content. Okay, let's have a look at something else. Let's suppose we've got a spun article in here and we want to put a summary at the end of the article. So we can say, all right, let's summary, and we'll spin it. Conclusion, brief summary, summing up, summarizing, in summary, and that will do for now. So if we look at our spinning, we can see that that's working okay. And then I'm going to put a colon and a new line so that on the next line now we can have some options. And I've just pasted in one of those options there: risks increase with, and then age in bold, and then a choice of genetic factors in bold, or family history of gestational diabetes in bold, or family history in bold. And of course we could add another alternative there and say bold, age of the, let's just do it a different way. Let's say age and then of the mother, and we'll select of the mother, and we're going to say also allow it to be blank, so that if we spin it we'll see risks increase with age and family history of gestational diabetes. There we've got age of the mother, which is this bit, so it's either there or it isn't, so it adds a bit more spinning. So whoops, click something I shouldn't have there. There we go, that's better. It's not going to change back, but maybe it will if I come here and back. No, okay, doesn't matter. And right, so what I want to do is I want to take this sentence here, say risks increase with, and then this bit here I want to spin so that it has a different format, or it has alternative formats. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything from here. In fact, I'm going to put a colon just in there, and then I'm going to select all of that sentence there, and I'm going to put in alternatives down here. Now, the first alternative I'm going to put in is some HTML formatting to create a list. And I'm going to say age, close the list item, let's have another list item here, and say family history, and close the list item. And then of course I've got to close the list. So let's add that, and we can have a look to see what happens when we spin. There we go. Oh, I haven't done it quite right, because risk increase with age of mother, and we want that to be instead of this. So let's go back, see where we've made the mistake. Risks increase with, and then we have to here. And there we have it. So we have all on one line, or we have risks increase with an age and family history. We could, of course, say, okay, well, let's spin this bit. Instead of family history, we'll say history of gestational diabetes in the family. Add that. And then if we go back and spin it, we can see risks include family history. Let's go back till we get the list. There we go, history of gestational diabetes in the family. So there we've got spun HTML, and I'm actually going to add another HTML formatting here. I need to select. It's not always easy to select in the best spinner. The best thing to use is actually the keyboard. So let me just use the keyboard to highlight that, and I want to copy that bit of text. I'll show you why. We'll paste it in, and instead of UL there, we'll put OL. And that will give us another type of formatting. UL and OL stand for unordered list and ordered list. So if we, there we go, there's an ordered list with numbers, and there's an unordered list with bullet points. But we see we've now got completely different layouts, and what we've done here is we've spun HTML. It can be a bit complicated, but as you can see, the layout options from spinning HTML are massive, and they can really change the format of an article to make it look even more unique to the search engines.